Hey everybody, I'm John. I collect cards. It's Tuesday, December 19th. This is a VR for John 3D80s Kid who asked us to talk about our hobby obsessions. And yeah, I've got a few, I guess you could say, probably like a lot of us. So I'm going to flip the phone around here and get right into it. And I will be doing it from a chair, sitting in a chair, not lying on a couch. Sitting in a chair, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's talk. All right, so these first two of what I would call four obsessions, and some of them might be they might be borderline obsessions, but I think they qualify as obsessions. Let's be real about it. The first two have to do with TTM autographs, through the mail autographs that I have gotten into in a pretty big way since rejoining the hobby 3 years ago. And John, like you, I was out of the hobby for about 30 years. So it's been great to be back in it and exploring other avenues of the hobby that I never did as a kid. I'm essentially an 80s kid as well, even though I show a 78 Tops pack for my channel. That was the first year I started collecting. But the thing about TTMs is, well, first off, we're going to open one because I just got one today. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm kind of talking about. This one's from Santa Barbara, Cali. So let's give it an open here. First off, let's see who it is. Okay, Jim Colburn. Pretty long, he pitched pretty long time, I'd say. I think he was mostly on the Brewers, actually. I guess he started with the Cubs. But adds to my 1976 collection of autos. So thank you, Mr. Colburn. But what I always do right after that is let's move these off to the side here. I take the envelope and I basically just sign it. Or not sign it, I put the guy's name on here. So I'm just going to I always just jot down who it is, just like that on there. And just because I try to keep track of the from the addresses and the dates on the postal the stamps from the post office in terms of when I'm getting stuff back. And I didn't start doing that for my returns, but I've been doing it for probably the last year or so, and so I've got a fair amount here. Keep track of a lot of names that way. So it's been something I want to make sure I do, and I probably have 50 or so that I don't have the names written down on. But sometimes there's stuff in the envelope, so it's easier to tell who obviously it's from, but I still want to get around to writing those down. I just don't want to lose track of that. So that's one thing that, maybe it's an obsession, maybe it's not, but I want to make sure I do that on every TTM I get back. The second thing has to do with how I want to arrange my through the mail autographs. So for the first year or so, I'd say maybe even 2 years, I had them set up by player name. And I don't even remember if I had them alphabetical or not, to be honest, but I don't currently have them by player name. Sometime last year, I decided to go by set year. And so I took out a stash from 77 to 80, just to give you an idea of a variety of autos I've picked up. Some come back from the players themselves. They send their own card. I got a Bernie Carbo card followed by a special one he sent himself, which was awesome. 79s and some 80s. Not too many 80s, but eventually I got to the point where now I see. Oh, where's my example here of Dennis Leonard? Because so I have a 77 Dennis Leonard. Then his 80, I sent him two, I think, and so they're separated. And it kind of bugs me a little bit, but I haven't gotten around to rearranging them by player because I like to see how many I have, a rough idea for each set. So I kind of, here's another one. Let's see, I got, where is he? I got a 78 Gene Garber here somewhere. There he is, Gene Garber. But then I also have him in 79 right there. It's like, I kind of wish they were together, but I really like the sets, the autos by set too. And for 76, I have probably 60 to 70 TTMs by now. And so I'm really kind of hung up both ways. It's like, I don't lose sleep over it, so to speak. So I'm not obsessing over it in that sense, but I probably think about it a little too much in terms of how do I want to store my TTM autos. I don't know. Right now they're by set. Well, I should go back to player at some point. I probably will, but eventually that becomes a little more of a time-consuming task to get them back in player order. So, but I have a feeling I'm going to go back down that road at some point. So those are two obsessions. And then two other ones I wanted to talk about. One of them has to do with numbering. And this mostly pertains to modern cards in terms of serial numbers. I've told myself I don't want to get into that mess of things where like uniform numbers matter on serial numbering, and they don't. But for whatever reason, I find them cool when I get something like that, whether it's through a break, which I did a fair amount of when I first got back in. I do it only occasionally now. Thank goodness, because I'd rather pour that money into, budget money into, going further down the vintage rabbit hole, or Alice in Wonderland kind of hole. What a door, because that's very interesting and fascinating. I'm really I'm getting into pre-war now too, and so I'm really enjoying that. Just the learning aspect. But there's still so let's take this card here, for example. I picked this up at the National. Red Rolf. It's actually his rookie card from 1934 Goudey. I bought it raw, got it graded, and I love it. Got a pretty decent grade as well. VCP, I'm a little underwater on it actually, but that's not really the point. It's just a really cool card to have. But part of the reason why I got this card, or why it was on my radar to maybe pursue, either at the National or just in general, was because of the card number. The card number is 94. And the fact that, the Red Rolf is an example of a vintage era player, or pre-war era player in this case, a Yankee, a darn good Yankee on Yankee teams that had legends on them. But for about 5 to 8 years, he was like an excellent ball player, third baseman for the Yanks on those late 30s teams that, won a lot. And it's just a super cool card in general with the light blue background, which I love. But that number 94 made it all the more reason for me to pursue this card. And it shouldn't have, but it did. So the number 94 is important. It's not even important. It's just coincidental. It's one of those weird things. So I graduated from college in 1994. My favorite hockey team, the New York Rangers, won probably the only cup they'll win, Stanley Cup they'll win in my lifetime in 1994. I live in Michigan, and for a long time, I was commuting many miles on Interstate 94 to go to work and get to work and back 5 days a week. A lot of miles. And I don't miss it. I don't do that anymore, actually. And I don't really miss it. But for a while I did. And then I'll throw even one more 94 at a little more personal in some ways. There were literally, exactly 94 guests at my wedding. 2007. So I count the years. For strange reasons, well, they're not strange, they're fascinating reasons. The number 94 is just sort of a number that I pay mind to. And, if back when I was, if there's a break I wanted to get into, I would look to see who's 94 in a particular set. Is it worth throwing a few dollars at that card? I did that on occasion. It's silly, but so numbering is a bit of a thing for me, and it shouldn't be. Another example of 94, and then I'll throw out a few other numbers too. I got this Luis Robert autograph in a break. This is a 21 Topps Inception. It's not his rookie year. It's a second-year card. I got it in a break. It's numbered 94. 94 out of 100. So, I will never sell this card. Even if I wanted to sell it, I won't because of that number. But, at the same time, I really like Luis Robert, and it's just a pretty nice auto card overall. But, I'm really not going to sell it because This year I did a tribute break. I think I only did one tribute break actually this year. It's one of my favorite sets, but it's a set that I just will not commit to buying a box of. Or last year in 22, I actually did a fair amount of breaking on it and kind of committed to myself to like picking up singles that would cost the price of a box. I didn't do that this year, and I probably won't do that again because as I've been in the hobby, there are just various like check marks. I'm like sort of checking. I'm trying this for new and trying this for new. I love vintage, and I like vintage more than anything. But the appeal of modern is definitely fading more and more. There are only a couple of sets that I really like want to make sure I sort of pay attention to going forward. But I did one tribute break, and I got this Luis Robert card in a break. Look at that; it's numbered 88 out of 99. So I won't sell this card, even if it would generate a few extra bucks because of that. Probably I'm not going to do it. I think it's just an awesome card to have, and I'm kind of a Luis Robert. Things like that, they shouldn't make me more of a fan of the player already than he's as highly skilled and awesome to watch kind of player he is, but it does. And that's kind of, I don't know, is that an obsession? I don't know. It's probably borderline. And then wouldn't you know it, this year I bought an Allen and Ginter hobby box. I still enjoy that set a little bit. And I picked up this in a rip card. So there's something with Luis Robert there. Couple of other examples of numbers here, and I'll try to move on to my last obsession things. I'm already over 11 minutes. A couple of years ago, I committed to myself that I was going to buy an Aaron Judge rookie auto for my birthday, or at least look into it. And so in February of 22, so the season he broke the AL record, single season, but before the season started, I purchased this autograph from Tribute 2017, and I wanted to, when I made the commitment to pursue a Judge auto, I wanted to make sure it was out of 99 because of his number. It's I just wanted to do that, so I did. What else here do I have? Let's see. Here's another example of an auto with numbering that shouldn't be much of a concern, but this one actually I can make a case that I'm cool with this one. I've shown this a couple of times before. Robin Yount. It's my only Yount auto. 2021, clearly authentic. 74 out of 99 is the number. His rookie year was 1974. He went into the Hall of Fame in 1999, and the design of the card is 1954 Topps, which is my second favorite set of all time after 78. So to me, this is like a personal one of one, which is just a cool card in that regard for me. But then here's another example of one one of the sets I do actively collect currently is Topps Chrome Platinum, which is basically Chrome Heritage. That is a set I believe I'm just probably going to, especially with the next one being 1954 Topps, presumably. I will definitely be collecting that as well. So I pulled this out of in a pack, one of the many packs I actually opened this summer of this set. Stan Musial, so numbered 6 out of 99. So I like it that much more. I probably shouldn't, but I do. The reason it's not even in a sleeve is because I actually have this in a binder. I have two binders of my collection, and they are from the 1952 design and 53 design of this set, the first 2 years, and I actually have them complete. So I have committed budget to that. In each of the last 2 years, it's been very fun to put together, actually. From a new card, modern card kind of, and purely from a set collecting kind of thing. I've enjoyed putting those together. And then one more ridiculous numbered card I'll show, and then I'll move on to my last few thoughts, is this Wander Franco that for a while was super cool because it's numbered 78 out of 99, and 78 for me, again, was the first year I collected, was the first year I went to a Major League ball game, and it was a particularly special memory in my life. So when I hit this in a break, I was like, holy crap, this is a freaking awesome card. And of course now it's just a shiny green piece of paper with a chrome overlay, given who it is. So, unless something changes, which, frankly, I don't expect to happen. So, all right. So the last, bit I wanted to talk about real quick is, I've alluded to, sets here just now. Whether it's that or goal pursuing in the hobby, I've got a 1954 Topps complete set. I got almost hooked on wanting to build that set for a variety of reasons that I've gone into in the past on past videos. And on the other side of it, being having completed it, it's like I still can't believe I did it. I feel like it's an achievement in some weird way. But and I guess from a hobby perspective, it was. And now I'm collecting these 1978 Topps Hall of Famers. I'm trying to keep them all to sevens and eights, and I'm getting pretty close to completing that. But I feel like sometimes I'm like, when I'm locked in on a goal like that, I almost feel like it's at the expense of my enjoyment for other parts of the hobby, because I almost feel like there came a time with 54 and 78 now where I don't regret doing either one for a second. I love having those cards. They're super valuable parts of my collection from a personal standpoint. I love them. But sometimes I wonder, like I felt like for the 78, I feel like I've built up, almost 50 of the cards out of 55. I think I have like 46 now. I almost feel like I didn't need to build it up that quickly because I only started in April. And so I feel like I lost focus in other areas of the hobby by focusing so much on keeping track of what was out there. And so I think that is a bit of an obsession thing where it's like I could pace myself a little bit more. And with that in mind, it's like when I do complete this 78 goal, I think I've just made kind of the decision in just in the last few days that I don't think I'm going to try to do my hobbying without a goal for a little while. See how that goes. John Wade Boggs fan put out a pretty interesting video a couple days ago or a week ago where he talked about how he felt like he was, I don't know, I think he used the word lost in the hobby or something, or just sort of recently, like sort of trying to find his way because he didn't really have a dedicated vintage goal. I'm kind of coming at it from the opposite angle, in that I feel like goals I've had have almost limited me or constrained me a little bit, where I don't want to be in that boat. As much as I will love having completed the 78 Hall of Fame run when I do finish it, it's knowing that I'm almost done with it, or kind of rounding third almost. Like I almost look forward to finishing it, but I'm not going to rush and just buy the cards because I want to find the ones I have left are some of the bigger ones or a lot of the bigger ones, and I want to make sure it's the right one for me. But I'm probably going to obsess over it a little too much to try to move on when I'm done. So anyway, as usual, this video went a little longer, or maybe a lot longer than I planned, but I hope kind of my couch session here, and I swear I'm not lying on a couch, I'm sitting in a chair, but I felt like for this last few minutes, I'm almost sort of doing some free association kind of thing there. But if any of that's getting across or kind of resonates, I'd love to know what you think about that. So there you go, John. There's some, are they borderline obsessions? I don't know. What's my diagnosis or, prognosis or whatever the right word is there. I'd be curious to know. Thanks everybody for listening and watching, and I will look forward to doing another video soon. Take care.